I ain't scared of shit, and you gonna find that out. As you seen, the last press conference,
We'll see.
when I walked you down, when you supposed to be the bigger man.
Yeah, hey, you say that because you're fighting with nobody, and you obviously look like you're a great fighter. But you find out September 13th, this is gonna be different for you.
And it's gonna be different from you as well.
And the new question for Canelo.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And you
I fought everybody.
And the new.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You
Since
mention me
2002.
one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look.
It's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stuff a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? You gonna be just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
The new.
Same shit that everybody else been saying since I moved to 147. I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next.
Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is quickly becoming one of the most talked about matchups in boxing history, but their latest press conference was pure chaos from start to finish.
Respect everybody, but if you f with me, so it's gonna be different.
Terence, is that true? Did Turkey Al Sheikh ask you to spice things up?
Turkey didn't ask me to do nothing. I didn't touch him.
You know.
Listen.
Hey, we know, buddy. We know.
First and foremost, somebody was in the room saying that I was scared of them. So I stepped to him and showed him who was the boss.
Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather didn't mince words when it came to Canelo Alvarez. He brushed off the buzz surrounding the Mexican champ, claiming Canelo handpicked his opponents and never dodged a challenge himself. Mayweather dismissed Canelo's resume altogether, saying their fight was a walk in the park even though he was pushing 40 at the time. He took aim at the boxing world for tearing down real fighters while propping up names like Canelo, insisting the fight was one-sided and Canelo was never the threat fans believed he was.
I like Canelo. This guy can do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fight.
Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, the seasoned manager behind Terence Crawford, shared his thoughts on the massive showdown. He admitted the opening rounds might be tight but was sure Crawford would shift gears mid-fight like he always does. Bomac made it clear he believes Crawford will take over as the bout goes on and walk away with the win just like he's done before. While he kept their exact game plan under wraps, he stressed that Crawford would close out the fight in full control and leave no doubt in the final rounds.
Finish strong.
It's gonna play out, man. You know, like I always say, it's gonna be a tough few rounds. You know, until Terence makes his adjustments, and then, like he does every fight, he's gonna take it over and run away with it.
How does that look like?
Well, you know, I ain't gonna put it out there like that, but I just looking for Terence to dominate. I know going.
But the latest Canelo versus Crawford press conference spiraled into chaos as both fighters unleashed a storm of insults and neither one backed off. The tension was off the charts as they squared up an unbelievable 10 times, causing constant delays and keeping the entire event on edge from start to finish.
As you seen, the last press conference,
We'll see.
when I walked you down, when you supposed to be the bigger man.
Yeah, hey, you say that because you're fighting with nobody, and you obviously look like you're a great fighter. But you find out September 13th, this is gonna be different for you.
And it's gonna be different from you as well.
And the new.
Question for Canelo.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And you
I fought everybody.
And the new.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You
Since
mention me
2002.
one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look.
It's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stuff a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? You're gonna be just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch. Same shit that everybody else been saying since I moved to 147. I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next.
Antonio Tarver couldn't hide his excitement for the upcoming fight, saying he's been preaching for years about the rare energy Terence Crawford brings. He views Crawford as a serious threat, a fighter fueled by unmatched intensity. Tarver openly questioned whether Canelo Alvarez still has the fire to dig deep, especially with his footwork showing signs of slowing down and a streak of less demanding opponents. He made it clear that if Canelo wants a shot at beating someone as dangerous and hungry as Crawford, he'll have to go further than he's ever gone before.
I got to ask you, Canelo Crawford, who you got? Come on, bro. I've been telling y'all for the longest. That boy got that energy. And you know what energy I'm talking about. What is that? Tarver energy. Bro. Yes, sir. Tarver. He got that. Yes, and so, you know, when you get that, we don't see nobody, bro. Now, he in there with a dog, Canelo. Now, the Canelo footwork ain't been what it's supposed to be lately. And he hasn't fought a real threat in a long time. Right. Now, sometimes we can get so comfortable in that zone. But now you got to go down deep to get ready for Crawford. You feel me? He got to go deep. Now, we don't know if Canelo still have that in him. We going to see. We going to see. But now,
Coach Calvin Ford voiced his excitement over the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford clash, saying he's truly hyped for both men. He noted it's been a while since Crawford went up against a massive name and gave Canelo his due as one of boxing's top-tier stars. Ford highlighted how important this fight is, calling it a defining moment for both fighters. In his view, this matchup gives fans something special, and at this point in their careers, Canelo and Crawford need each other to carve out a lasting legacy in boxing history.
Fighters, you know, Crawford getting another serious young African-American fighting him. You know, it's been a while, you know what I'm saying? And this guy, he's alive. Canelo is the GOAT, and it's good for Terence Crawford to see that guy, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for Canelo to see him. You know, it gives something for the boxing world to talk about, and everybody look forward to it.
When asked how he'd get Terence Crawford ready to take on boxing's biggest star, Coach Calvin Ford said he wouldn't change a thing. He praised Crawford's dominance, especially how he broke down Errol Spence Jr. in a fight many thought would be close but ended up completely one-sided. Ford compared that intensity to the classic Hagler versus Hearns battle, but with an even clearer result. He believes that if both Canelo and Crawford show up at their peak, fans could finally get the epic showdown they've been dreaming about.
Why would I change up what he's been doing? He's been winning. He's been getting the job done. You know, when he shut down Earl, that was perfect. It ain't like he ain't been in no big fights. That was a fight everybody thought they was gonna get a roller coaster, and it went Terence.
That was like, Hagler Hearns, you thought you didn't know what was going to happen.
We didn't get that.
And he dominated.
We didn't get that fight that we thought we was going to get.
Yeah.
And then seeing Canelo and him do it, everybody said, man, we might get the fight that we're going to get.
Max Kellerman weighed in on the importance of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford clash, calling it one of the biggest fights he's ever witnessed in the sport. Having covered historic matchups like Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather and the heavyweight battle between Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, Kellerman believes this one could top them all. He pointed out that while those fights were massive, this showdown has the scale, timing, and impact to possibly take the #1 spot on his list and reshape the landscape of boxing as we know it.
Would you rank this fight out of your top 3 to 5 of all the boxing fights you've called, you've experienced, you've watched?
In terms of the magnitude of the
magnitude,
fight?
Yeah.
I mean, of the fights that I've called ringside, it might turn out to be #1. I've done Pacquiao fights, I've done Mayweather fights, I've done Anthony Joshua against Klitschko. Those are big fights.
Kellerman pointed out that with Netflix stepping into the mix, this fight could become the most watched title bout in nearly half a century. He recalled Muhammad Ali's 1978 rematch with Leon Spinks, which drew an astonishing 90 million viewers, a record that still hasn't been broken. While massive pay-per-view events like Mayweather vs. Pacquiao brought in huge numbers, Kellerman believes the global reach of streaming could push this fight even further, especially if it captures strong household viewership. From a business angle, he's certain this could be the biggest boxing spectacle he's ever reported on.
This will, listen, because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is going to be because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in 78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watch, that's 20 million people. This is going to do multiples of that. So, so when you look at it from like a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever.
Jim Lampley reflected on Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez by recalling a past chat with Larry Merchant. When asked if Crawford could pull off the win, Merchant didn't hesitate, saying that sharp movement timing and technique can beat raw size. He explained that if Crawford sticks to his footwork, avoids the center line, lands clean punches and steers clear of big exchanges, he's got a real path to victory. The secret, he said, is to keep moving, dart in and out, switch up the rhythm and never stand still long enough to get caught.
The great Larry Merchant, very recently. I said, is there any way in your mind that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez? And Larry said to me, Jim, did Ray Leonard get a decision win over Marvin Hagler? I said, yes, he did. He said, well, if Ray Leonard could have gotten a decision win over Marvelous Marvin Hagler, then yes, absolutely, Terence Crawford has a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez, because it's the same thing. It's the same size difference to a certain degree. Wow. It's a very similar style difference, and there's a blueprint there. If Crawford looks at what Leonard did, get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, land to the body, get out, get in, land upstairs, get out, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, and always the footwork, never standing in the same place. If Crawford has the energy to do that, there's...
Jim Lampley admitted that Canelo Alvarez has one of the toughest chins in the sport, but said Terence Crawford doesn't need a knockout to win. He believes Crawford can take it on points by sticking to a smart strategy, keeping his distance, setting the pace and managing his energy across all 12 rounds. Lampley emphasized that with the right focus and adjustments, Crawford has a real shot at outboxing and outsmarting Canelo. On the other hand, Dan Rafael pushed back on the idea that Canelo's lackluster showing against William Skull was just because of a tough matchup. He pointed to the real issue, years of wear and tear from a career that began in Canelo's teens. Rafael highlighted that it's not just how many fights a boxer has, but how much time they've logged in the ring, and even the greats eventually feel that toll.
How bad he was against Skull. I'm not convinced that it was just a bad style. I think that he's just to the point after, all these years of being a professional, since he's 15, 16 years old, that takes a toll, man. It's all the sparring, it's all the fights, it's the wear and tear on your body. And I have made this point before. To me, it's not so much about the number of fights, it's how many rounds do you have. Here's the harsh reality. Canelo Alvarez has literally double the number of pro rounds that Terence Crawford does, even though Canelo is younger than.
Rafael highlighted that Canelo Alvarez has fought over 500 professional rounds, more than twice as many as Terence Crawford. He argued that this massive gap shows just how much physical punishment Canelo has absorbed over the years, especially considering the elite-level competition he's consistently faced, from battle-tested veterans to rugged challengers. In Rafael's view, all that wear and tear has caught up, and he believes Canelo's accumulated mileage could be a serious disadvantage when facing someone as fresh, sharp, and precise as Crawford.
As a professional now, Canelo. Crawford hasn't even hit 300 rounds as a professional. That's a big difference.
That's another factor then we can look into this fight. There's so many factors to it, like you say, Dan. Now, you did touch on it.
It's 520 rounds for Canelo Alvarez as a professional. And it's 245 rounds as a professional for Terence Crawford. Yeah. That's a dramatic difference. Think about the wear and tear you might take in an extra 200 plus rounds. And it's not like Canelo's fighting guys who can't fight. He's fighting top level, world championship level fighters, one after the other after the other. If you looked at a guy like William Skull or John Ryder or somebody like that and say that was like his so-called worst opponent over the last several years, that's still pretty solid. Those are still real.
Michael Buffer predicted a thrilling and closely contested showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, saying this fight will be all about skill and talent, not just raw power. When asked about UFC President Dana White taking on a promotional role, Buffer didn't hold back on the praise, calling him one of the best promoters in sports history. He voiced full confidence in White's ability to inject new life into boxing and handle high-stakes events with precision. Despite criticism from names like Oscar de la Hoya, Buffer made it clear he fully backs Dana White's move into the boxing scene.
Well, it's not a big fight unless you're announcing it. Canelo versus Crawford. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be a close and interesting fight.
Right.
I think it's going to be a technical fight, not a power fight.
Now, what do you think about Dana White promoting it? You think
he's only proven himself to be one of the greatest promoters in the history of sports. So
he's good?
Pretty good deal.
He's good for boxing.
Oh yeah, he'll know what to do.
Because some people like De La Hoya have been a little critical of him, but he has the Michael Buffer approval, obviously. For sure. You're the man. Thank you.
According to John Ted, Terence Crawford often finds himself in punching exchanges, and when he does get caught, it's usually with a straight right hand. That shot has become a go-to move against him, likely because as a southpaw who isn't naturally left-handed, his stance leaves a slight opening. Even so, Crawford's grit, speed and slick footwork help him either absorb the blow or avoid real danger. Ted noted that Crawford sometimes takes shots on purpose, similar to how Sugar Ray Leonard once did, luring opponents in to create countering opportunities. He'll leave a narrow opening, bait the attack, then slip out and fire back with pinpoint precision. It's a style that proves Crawford isn't just technically sharp but also thrives when the pressure's on.
On Terence Bud Crawford, I was going to put together video clip of how Terence Bud Crawford loves to trade. So while I was trying to put that together, I noticed that when he is getting hit in the exchange, it's usually by a straight right. So much so that I've noticed that his ops plan to land the straight right. These fighters literally study Crawford and plan on throwing a straight right because he's a southpaw and he's not a natural southpaw. So they actually plan for it. It's just that Terence Crawford is so damn durable and good and athletic that even when they're landing it, he's okay. And a lot of times he kind of make them miss, or he'll give them his face like Sugar Ray Leonard, love him to death, and he'll step back and go bang, because his feet are so good. That's why I said he's a fighter. Crawford is more.
Jiren Butanis is siding with Canelo Alvarez in this potential clash, noting that Canelo has made a habit of beating bigger fighters, even though 168 pounds isn't his natural division. He pointed out that some of Canelo's opponents probably walk into the ring close to 200 pounds, yet Canelo handles them with confidence. Butanis sees this as a massive fight fans are counting down to. He also recommended that Terence Crawford take a tune-up fight at 160 pounds to get used to the size shift, build some strength and stay sharp without sitting out for too long.
Gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Shannon Briggs, on the other hand, threw his full support behind Terence Crawford in a potential clash with Canelo Alvarez, boldly stating that Crawford would come out on top, possibly with a knockout. Briggs, who rarely bets, said he'd make an exception this time because he's that confident in Crawford's ability to stop Canelo. Meanwhile, Mton also backed Crawford, though he held off on giving a firm prediction. He praised Crawford's adaptability, noting how he can fight effectively both on the move and at close range. While he acknowledged Canelo's greatness, Mton described his style as more limited, relying mostly on pressure, slick head movement and counterpunching. He believes Crawford's speed, agility and wider skill set will be the deciding factors, allowing him to outbox Canelo across the fight.
Crawford, who you got, champ?
I don't have a pick. I feel like I'm a root for Crawford, and so I just feel like Crawford is more multi-dimensional. He can do more things in the ring. He can get on his toes if he really needs to. And then he can also bang in the pocket, obviously. And I feel like Canelo's a great, but I feel like he's more one-dimensional. He's just going to put that pressure, slick head movement, try to come with them counters. But I just feel like Crawford going to have the speed advantage, and he gonna probably just outbox Canelo. But I don't have no pick right now, but I'm rooting for Crawford.
That ends today's video.
That's it for today's video. Are you backing Canelo or Crawford in this historic showdown? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't miss our other videos now playing on your screen.